Greeting students. Today we are here to discuss the second topic of life processes, that is nutrition in human beings. In nutrition in human beings, we are going to see that the ingestion happens from the mouth, and inside the mouth the second process of the holozoic nutrition, that is digestion, starts. What are the different digestive organs which are involved? What exactly is the enzymes or the secretory material that they secrete, and how the action of digestion is done. First of all, let's start with what is the definition of digestion. It is a process of breaking down of large and complex food material into simpler and small molecules. These molecules are then absorbed from the alimentary canal or the digestive tract to the body, and it is utilized by the body. Now, digestive system, it is made up of the alimentary canal, which you can see on the screen, as well as the glands which comes in the pathway or on the tract. After the complete digestion process is done, all the nutrients which is there in the food, like carbohydrate, it gets broken down into simpler form, that is glucose. The protein nutrient of the food gets broken down into amino acid, and the fats gets broken down into fatty acid and glycerol. Let's start up with the digestion process. Now, the first organ is mouth. The other name of the mouth is buccal cavity. The first step of holozoic nutrition, that is ingestion, happens inside this buccal cavity. Now, in the buccal cavity, we have three things which takes place or which takes part in the digestion process. First being teeth, which is help in chewing and grinding of food, and roll and tongue, which helps in rolling, testing, and making food more softer. Teeth and tongue both contribute to the mechanical digestion, what happens inside the mouth. Apart from that, we also have the salivary glands. We have three pairs of salivary glands. In grade 10, it is not important to remember the three names, though I have given you very clearly on your screen. These salivary glands are the one that secretes the digestive enzyme called salivary amylase. This salivary amylase converts starch into simpler form, that is sugar. This is one of the reasons why when you eat bread or when you eat only chapati, you feel it more sweeter after chewing for some time, because the starch of say rice or wheat or chapati or bread gets converted into sugar, which is sweeter. So your first process of digestion starts in mouth. The second organ of alimentary canal is esophagus. Esophagus doesn't contribute in any digestion, but contribute in the movement, or it connects the buccal cavity with the stomach. The movement by which the food is pushed inside the esophagus is called as peristalsis or peristaltic movement. This movement is just the contraction and relaxation of the alimentary canal. You can yourself feel this movement when you gulp a large amount of water at once. You can actually feel how the water moves down your throat. That expansion and contraction or peristalsis movement is the one that pushes the food or water down the esophagus. Now the third organ is stomach. Stomach is a J-shaped organ. It's actually a bag-like structure which can expand, and now the food moves to the third part, that is stomach. Inside stomach again, we have both the digestions, mechanical as well as chemical. When I talk about mechanical, I'm talking about the churning process that is done by the stomach wall. Sometimes when you all are hungry, you can feel that how the stomach muscles starts moving or starts churning. That is what is the mechanical digestion. Along with that, talking about the actual digestive enzymes, so the walls of the stomach have a gland called as gastric gland. Gastric gland, which is located in the walls of the stomach, produces juice known as gastric juice. This gastric juice is made up of three things. 1. Pepsin, which is an enzyme. 2. HCl, that is hydrochloric acid. And 3. Mucus. Pepsin is the enzyme which is present in stomach and that helps to break down protein. HCl is an acid which is present inside the stomach. Now HCl has two important functions. One, it activates pepsin. So pepsin, when it is getting released in the gastric juice, is in inactive form. It is not at all active. Once the HCl is secreted inside the stomach, it activates the pepsin and then pepsin starts doing its job. So HCl first function is to activate the pepsin and the second function of this acid is to kill the microorganism which by default entered inside your stomach. So these are the two functions. Mucus is a layer which surrounds or which forms the internal wall-like structure and does not allow penetration of HCl or the acid to the stomach cells. So it actually protects the inner lining of stomach. Because of this mucus, there is no harm in your stomach cells due to the acid present in the stomach. Moving on, the fourth organ is small intestine of alimentary canal. Now this is a very important organ and the maximum digestion happens in the small intestine. In the small intestine there are two accessory glands, liver and pancreas. I call them as accessory gland because they are not directly involved or they are not directly located in the alimentary canal, but yes, they pour their secretion inside the small intestine. Now liver secretes bile and pancreas secretes pancreatic juice. Now let's see one by one. First thing, liver. Liver has a small sac-like structure inside called as gallbladder. Liver produces bile and the bile gets stored in gallbladder. Now the bile is not an enzyme but it is having a very important function, that is emulsification. On your screen you can see emulsification is the process of conversion of large fat globules into small fat globules. See, the fats are heavy molecules. It's very difficult to digest fats directly. So no enzyme can digest this as it is. On the contrary, the body have to uh, turn these large fat droplets into smaller fat droplets and this work is done by bile juice which is secreted by the liver. And this whole process is called as emulsification. The second function of bile is to convert the pH of the semi-digested food that came to small intestine. See, in the stomach the pH was acidic, but now in the small intestine the pH is basic. This is very important for you to note this. Talking about the pancreas which secretes the pancreatic juice, this pancreatic juice is again having two enzymes, one trypsin and another lipase. Trypsin is sounding as same as pepsin. So the function of trypsin is again on proteins. It breaks down the protein. And lipase is the one which is going to act on emulsified fats. The fats which are already emulsified from bile juice, the lipase is going to convert it into fatty acid and glycerol. So this is how the proteins and fats are again broken down. Apart from bile and pancreatic juice, even the intestinal glands which is present inside the small intestine, they release their intestinal enzyme and these intestinal enzyme completes the digestion. That is, it is going to act on whatever carbohydrate is left out. So you initially inside your mouth, the digestion started of carbohydrate. Carbohydrate got digested there. That is, the starch got converted into simple sugar. But not complete carbohydrate gets digested in your mouth. So after it comes to small intestine, the leftover carbohydrate gets digested into glucose. Similarly, the leftover proteins gets digested into amino acid, and fats completely gets digested into fatty acid and glycerol. So your complete digestion happens in small intestine. After that, whatever is left out is moving to the first, or it moves to the fifth organ of alimentary canal, that is large intestine. Inside the large intestine, no digestion can happen because nothing is left. But yes, a very important thing, that is water. A very important component is water, which body cannot lose as such, and it is absorbed in the large intestine. From there, the undigested food with less of water moves to rectum, which is the swollen part at the end of the large intestine, and it temporarily, your undigested weight gets collected here, and then through anus, egestion, that is the last step of Holozoic nutrition, happens. This slide will give you the whole idea about different organs where the digestion is happening, the glands which are involved, the enzymes or the digestive juices that get secreted, and the function that they are doing. This is just to ease out your comparative study. You can compare what is happening where. Moving on to the last part, that is absorption. After digestion, the next step is absorption that has to happen. Now, if you remember, the complete digestion happened in small intestine. So even absorption starts in small intestine. Now, if you look at, I have given you clear diagrammatic representation that the inner wall of the small intestine are having finger-like projections. You can see finger-like projection, a fold of the intestinal lining, and these finger-like projections are called as villi. Villi is the one which absorbs the digested nutrients from your small intestine. So, very important board question related with this comes almost all every year, that explain the absorption happening in small intestine. So you have to say that the inner wall of small intestine is deeply folded in finger-like projections, and we call it as villi. And villi increases the surface area. See, more and more finger-like projections are there. That means more and more absorption can happen. So villi actually helps in absorption, and it is having a rich supply of blood, because of which directly the nutrients comes out into the bloodstream, and then it is taken to various parts of your body. I hope you all are very clear with all the different organs and the gland which is located in that, the enzymes that is getting secreted, and how the absorption happens inside the small intestine. Thank you.